Let's chat! Radio Disney's DJ Shal talks to special guests from around the Bay with something to say. Let's find out who we've got today on Let's Chat.
How's it going, Bay Area? It's DJ Shal here on Let's Chat. Today is Sunday, December 2nd, and I hope that you are all staying dry in this wet weather we've been having. You know, the rain really does make it seem like winter is finally here. And, you know, the rain is just what we need. As much as I personally hate it, the Bay Area could definitely use some rain. So I guess this is a good thing. Anyways, I don't want to take up too much time because I've got a fantastic guest on the show today. And I want to go ahead and get to it. So today I am chatting with David Whitman, who is the Vice President of the Tech Awards at the Tech Museum of Innovation down in San Jose. How's it going, David?
Hi, it's going great. How are you?
I am doing fabulous this morning, and I'm so excited to have you on the show because I got to tell you, I love the Tech Museum of Innovation, and I go down there whenever I can get down to the South Bay. I'm up here in San Francisco, but every time I'm down in San Jose, I try to get over to the Tech Museum because there's always something new there, and I always have such a great time, all the hands-on learning experiences. It is such a great place. And again, why I'm excited to have you on the show today is because the Tech Museum just had a huge gala called the Tech Awards, which happened just a couple of weeks ago on November 15th. And, you know, we want to let our listeners know all about what the Tech Awards are and what the projects were all about, because from what I understand, registration is open for next year, right?
Yes, it is already. And, you know, what the Tech Museum tries to do is inspire innovation in people locally, nationally, and globally. And the Tech Awards is the way we do this globally. We accept applications from all over the world, and we get hundreds of them, from people who have invented things or using technology in some special way to help other people, especially in places where people are poorer or don't have access to the resources that they do in many other places. So we look for those leaders, those innovators, those people who are working hard to help others, and we select 2 in different categories. We have 5 different categories, and then we bring those 2 from wherever they are in the world to Silicon Valley for a week, and we do all kinds of activities with them and have a big celebration where we honor their innovations at the Tech Awards Gala that you mentioned. That happens once a year, and that was something that we just recently had. It was a beautiful, beautiful evening.
Oh, I'm sure. I actually had a couple of colleagues who went over to the award ceremony, and they said it was such a wonderful event. They loved it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
One of the great things this year was we had National Geographic photographers contributing their photos of the different problems around the world that the Tech Awards laureates are working to solve. And so on huge screens, some of them were 23 feet tall, we were able to show these images all night long of conditions in different parts of the world that people maybe from the Bay Area might not be so familiar with, and the different things that people are struggling with, like access to clean water, or to energy, or to health care. So that was very effective to have all of those photojournalists contributing their work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what I love about this is that it is open to people from all over the world. It's not just a local thing open to people from the Bay Area or even just within the United States. But as you said, it's global. This is open to everyone all across the world, which is amazing that you could actually conduct a contest with people from all over the world.
And we have applications from all over. Particularly strong this year were laureates from India. And part of the theme of this year's Tech Awards Gala was India. So many of the images I just talked about, the film, the food, the global humanitarian recipient, was from India too, Narayana Murthy, who is the head of the Infosys Foundation and uses his great wealth and position in India to help the poor. So it was a night where we honored India and many other regions of the world as well. And one of the things you mentioned about the globalness of this program is that in this world of information technology, we really are able to access places through technology that maybe were inaccessible in the past. And so lots of the innovations are based on cell phones, which are very common in even some of the poorest regions of the world, or on the Internet. And so we're seeing people based in different areas who can have a wide-ranging impact far, far away from where they live. And that's a great thing about technology. As the Global Humanitarian said this year, it's the great leveler. It helps to level things around the world so people have the same opportunities.
Absolutely. And it nowadays, the technology has evolved so much. And so there are so many things that people can do. But it still is interesting, how different it is, like here in the United States versus in India, things that we take for granted, like running water, places, not just in India, but, third world countries don't have that access to running water. And so that's what this is all about. The Tech Awards is to, I guess, create little solutions on ways that, this is my example, but to create like a solution to how to get running water from, I guess, the stream to the village or whatnot, or to a household, something like that, right?
Exactly. And when you think about technology, we think of gadgets and how it improves our lives. But if you think about how else technology can be used to save people's lives, that's a much different idea. And that's what the Tech Awards laureates are doing. This year we started a new category called the Young Innovator Award. And that's for people under the age of 27 who use technology to benefit humanity in some great way. And it's really wonderful to see young people honored in this category. Of course, young people could be honored in any of the other categories as well.
Right. But
now we have a special award just for people under 27 years of age. So I hope that many of your listeners will think about how maybe they could use their innovative minds to create something that would help others around the world, and perhaps apply this year to receive the Catherine M. Swanson Young Innovator Award.
Absolutely. And I do want to talk about, the awards and some of the categories. But before I do that, I want to back up a little bit and talk about why the Tech Awards was started and how long ago it was actually started.
It was started at the turn of the millennium, so it was 12 years ago, and the United Nations Development Program was looking at the major issues confronting the world at that time, and they came up with a list. And here in Silicon Valley, a group of people got together and decided to select 5 of those categories and to try to do something about it, to try to honor people who are working in those 5 categories. So that's how it started. And now that list has been updated, and we have new categories that reflect the United Nations Development Program's update for the greatest challenges facing us at this time. So that's how it started. It's grown every year, and it's become, we have 257 laureates who have been honored since the program began 12 years ago.
Wow.
And we're just launching the 13th year now, with the application period being open.
Wow. Now, are the projects done, are they solo projects or are they group projects? How does that work?
They're both. Sometimes it's an individual, sometimes it's a for-profit corporation, sometimes it's a not-for-profit organization. It just depends on, it has to have been developed and tested in the real world. So we don't want theoretical ideas only. We want something that's actually in use and changing people's lives already.
Okay. And then how long do the people have to work on their project? Are they given a year to, implement it, create it, and implement it? Or is it just a few months that they have to get everything going and presented to, I guess, the judges?
We really want to honor people who have created something, are testing it, and are at the point where they want to scale it up. So they want to make it bigger, have it reach more people. And that's what we can do to help at the Tech Museum, is we give them an international platform. So when they come to Silicon Valley, they meet people in the media, they meet potential funders, they meet sponsors, they meet lots of people here who are interested in the kind of work that they're doing and the kind of creative ideas they have. And that helps them often. In addition to that, they get an unrestricted cash prize from the Tech Museum of either $75,000 or $25,000 in each category. So we give more than $600,000 in cash prizes to these laureates to do with whatever they want to help their projects to go to the next level.
Oh, that is amazing. That is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and it's a lot of attention.
Yeah.
They are here in the center of the innovation capital and have a lot of opportunity to meet people who have the ability and interest in helping them as well.
Absolutely. David, let me ask you, you mentioned the Young Innovator Award is open to those who are 27 and under. Is the Tech Awards open to people of all ages, or is it for those who are 18 and over, or what is the age restriction to take part in the Tech Awards?
No, there are no age restrictions. It could be any age, but we wanted to set aside a category just for young people. So they could be any age below 27, and we're interested in students in high school and college who have ideas and are testing them and have something that's beneficial to others, especially in this new use of technology. Or it could be an existing technology that's used in a new way to help people. So that's why that prize was established, because we wanted to reach out especially to younger innovators.
I see. Okay. Now, I would love for you to walk us through the categories here, because you did mention there are a few different ones that people could submit their entry into. And if you could explain a little bit about what the categories mean and what type of projects would fall into those categories.
Yes, we have 5 for next year.
Okay.
The Intel Environment Award honors people who are working in the environment, and that's a broad category, of course, that incorporates lots and lots of things, but any kind of environmental work would fall into that award category. There's the Microsoft Education Award, and again, that honors innovators who are helping education wherever it is in the world through the use of innovative technology. The award we talked about was the Catherine M. Swanson Young Innovator Award for people under 27 working in any field that would help people around the world confront some of the problems that seem insurmountable. The Nokia Health Award is for people working in health sciences to better the health of populations around the world. And the Flextronics Economic Development Award is for projects that are helping to build economic life in communities and nations and regions of the world to improve the standard of living of people. So these categories have some overlaps, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
And the judges every year determine where an application would perform best competitively. So if there is a project submitted that could be considered, for example, in the Environment Award, but is also good for economic development and health, then the judges will decide where it has the best chance and place it in that category.
I see.
But many things, as you know, are interdisciplinary. They have many different reaches and applications, and that's certainly the case with the varied projects that we receive for the Tech Awards every year.
Oh, absolutely.
And we have one other category that isn't competitive, but it's a nomination and invitation, and it's called the James C. Morgan Global Humanitarian Award.
Right.
And that's an award for somebody who's very famous and known all over the world, is a philanthropist, and has used technology to help people along with their position of power in the world. So we have just awarded the 9th Global Humanitarian Award, and some of the past recipients have included people like Bill Gates and Al Gore and Queen Rania of Jordan.
Wow.
So there are people who come to San Jose, come to the Tech Awards Gala to receive the award and have an inspirational address from the stage where they inspire people to do good work.
Wow.
And that's certainly what Narayana Murthy did at the Tech Awards recently here.
Oh, I'm sure. I am sure. Those are big names to be amongst. I would love to be amongst that. I'm just not at that level yet.
Well, you might be soon, so don't give up yet.
That's right. Someday. You never know. Now, David, did you say that there were 2 award winners per category? Was that how many it was? Or
There are 2. Yes,
okay.
There are 2. One receives the $75,000 prize and the other the $25,000 prize. That's a surprise until the night of the Tech Awards Gala. We don't know until they open the envelopes like at the Academy Awards. So there's a little bit of suspense, but it's a wonderful moment, and everybody walks away with a substantial amount of money.
Oh, yeah.
And an honor, recognition, and celebration. It's really a chance for the people of the Valley and the greater Bay Area to come together and honor the laureates for their work. There's a live webcast, so people all over the world are actually able to watch the ceremony live.
Oh, wow.
And KQED Television is producing a special program that will be aired in January that will feature highlights from the gala.
Oh, that's great. Now, this year, that was 6 categories, so that means that there were 12.
There were 6 categories this year. We had an additional category this year called the Accenture Sustainable Energy Award, and that was to coincide with the United Nations Year of Sustainable Energy for All in 2012. So we had a special award category this year for sustainable energy, 1 year only.
Just for this year. Okay. Good to know.
Yes, We won't continue that, but it was in honor of the United Nations year.
I see. Okay. And so that means that there were 12 winners this year, 12 laureates who were honored with this high award and this achievement. Is that right?
Yes, there were. And they've just all safely reached their countries of origin and had a wonderful time here. They had lots of workshops and interviews with the media, and we produced films. We had, through a partnership with CineQuest, we had 12 international filmmakers assigned to each of the laureates, one filmmaker, that created a short film to introduce them to the world, and that was very beautiful too. Those were in all different styles, as you could imagine. Some of them were animated films, and others were humorous, others were in the documentary style. So we had a little mini international film festival introducing the laureates in film this year.
Very, very cool. Now, David, if you could let our listeners know, there was 12 winners. Can you let us know a couple of the projects that they did, what, they came up with and they have implemented into this world?
Sure. In the Nokia Health Award, for example, there was a project that started at Stanford University originally in the D School. And it was interesting because we learned that the students there were trying to find ways to save babies who were born prematurely and often die because they get too cold. So they were looking for ways to create a device that would be affordable and effective in keeping babies warm. And they started this by folding napkins and by thinking of different designs that they could do at Stanford, and now it is a very impressive organization. The problem is that 1.1 million babies die every year because of lack of affordable incubators, but 75% of those could survive with inexpensive treatment. So Embrace, the name of the organization, they tried to create a low-cost infant warmer. It's made from a kind of space-age material designed to keep the babies from getting too cold, and it provides about 6 hours of warmth for the babies. And so now in India and elsewhere, thousands of babies are kept warm by this invention that originated here at Stanford. So that was a great project that received a lot of attention. People were very fascinated to see how simple device like this could replace much more expensive incubators that are normally seen in clinics and hospitals in developed places, but aren't available in some regions of the world.
Absolutely. And it's awesome to see someone right here in our backyard be one of the winners, right, at Stanford University. That's great.
Oh, yeah, Stanford D School, the design school there, has been the genesis of many of the projects this year and in the past. So it's a great place for people to think about ways to use technology to improve the human condition.
Nice.
There was another Stanford D School person in the Young Innovator category, Angaza Design, that won the $75,000 prize this year for work in Africa. And what they found was that people lacking electricity had very high prices that they couldn't afford for quality solar projects when they weren't on the electrical grid. So the solution for Angaza was to design a pay-as-you-go technology that allowed customers to pay for energy use in very small amounts with the cash that they had, so that they would be able to renew this source of energy that they otherwise wouldn't have access to. And it was cheaper for them to do it this way, and they were able to keep the flow of energy payments and energy into their homes and businesses at a manageable level. So that has been working in Tanzania and Kenya and in Zambia and Africa and having huge impact, and I think now will scale up dramatically as a result of the attention that Angaza Design received from the Tech Awards.
Absolutely. Wow. These are so interesting to hear. I mean, what people really can do and what they have done. I mean, it really is phenomenal, that people have really put their mind to things and really put their plans into action and actually accomplish something. And it's great that the Tech Museum does reward these people for their accomplishments. I mean,
yes,
it is so far and few that people do get, acknowledged for their inventions and their creations, but this is great. And, as we said at the top of the show,
some of the people this year said that they had previously worked for large corporations or had jobs that paid very well, and they were looking for something else in their lives to give them even greater satisfaction, or to really work on some of the problems that they had seen in their travels or in their work. And so they switched to a not-for-profit company or an invention that they tried to help in very remote areas of the world, often for a substantial pay cut. So they're making less money, but reportedly having much higher satisfaction in what they're doing in the world. And, of course, that's a great thing that many people seek, is a purpose and a chance to give to others and improve the lives of others. And, technology is a very valuable way to do that these days. And information is so available around the world now that if we tap into it and empower others to use it, it's a great source of pride and satisfaction and helping the whole world to have a better standard of living.
Absolutely. Now, David, have you been vice president of the Tech Awards the entire time since it started at the beginning of the millennium?
No, I haven't. Just for the last 4 years, I have been.
Okay, because I was curious, back in, 2000, 2001, the internet was really just starting to become a little bit more prevalent in this world. It's, it was just really hitting its big boom. And so I was curious if the projects that people were submitting have, really evolved since when the Tech Awards first started, because technology has evolved and, with the whole internet now taking this big boom. I was just curious if you'd really seen like a big change over the years.
Yes, we have. As I mentioned, many of the applications now are based on cell phones, because I don't think that when it started 12 years ago, we could have imagined that so many people in the world would have cell phones or access to cell phones as they do now. And, we had a laureate from Bangladesh a few years ago who said that the coverage for cell phones in Bangladesh was even greater than it is in California. And it's because everybody is so dependent on the use of cell phones in that culture, in those regions, that they all have them. And so consequently, a good way to get information about healthcare, about crops, about markets, about all kinds of things that people need to know about can be transferred through that technology. There are interesting things about checking to see whether pharmaceuticals are legitimate or not. They could be counterfeits that you would buy. But there's a way now, an application on your cell phone, where you're able to tell if the drug that you're getting from the store is really the drug that you think it is, or if it's a counterfeit. So all of these things are making the lives of people much better. As I said, technology seems to be the great leveler. It's giving people equal opportunity, giving people access to information they wouldn't have had in the past. And even since the birth of the Tech Awards 12 years ago, many things have changed. I mean, Google, I don't even think existed 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So imagine how the world has changed just in our own mind about accessing information in that way.
Exactly. Now, I'm curious, does the Tech Museum receive a lot of entries for the projects?
We do. We get entries from all over the world. It's a process. We've changed the process starting this year for 2013 to simplify it. So now what you have to do is, if you're interested in it, you can go to our website, which is thetechawards.thetech.org. And there you will find information about the Tech Awards, about the past laureates, photos of the laureates and the projects, and you'll have a chance to apply directly from that link. So if you think that you have an innovation that you might want to apply in 2013 with, before May 1st, 2013, all you have to do is go to the website, fill out the application, and it requires 2 letters of reference from people talking about the value of your project. And that's from those hundreds of applications we receive. Then we review them with independent panels and choose the 2 for each category to be honored.
Wow. That is amazing. That's got to be such a tough job to be one of the judges and really, to see all of these projects right in front of you and see how creative people really can be, and then to have to narrow it down to just 2 per category. That's got to be so tough, I would think.
It's very tough, and luckily the Tech Museum doesn't have to do that. We want to stay completely independent of that process.
Yeah.
So our partners at the Center for Science, Technology, and Society at Santa Clara University oversee the judging.
Oh,
so we're not involved in that at all.
Gotcha.
We are involved in trying to source the applications, collect the applications, but then we turn them over to Santa Clara University, and they form the 5 different judging panels of professors and experts in those respective fields to review the applications. And it's a tough job. It takes months of review, of meetings, of discussing, but eventually they're able to come to consensus and choose just the 2 laureates who will be honored. And it's very competitive, and there are great projects that are reviewed every year, so that you know that the quality of the 2 laureates who are eventually named is very, very high and has gone through a lot of competitive vetting by the judges.
Oh, I can only imagine. It really is a fabulous thing, and that's the Tech Awards. Again, you can get information on the Tech Museum's website. And David, can you give us that website address once more? The
Tech Museum site is thetech.org. The Tech Awards is thetechawards.thetech.org.
There we go. Okay, and you said applications are being accepted now, correct?
Through May 1st, 2013. So please let anyone you know who's interested in this or has an invention that might be applicable for the Tech Awards to check out the application procedure and see if they qualify. And if so, we would encourage them to do so this year.
Absolutely. And are the Tech Awards held every November, or does it change?
Yes. Next year, it will be November 14th, 2013.
Well, there you go. That's amazing. You already have this date set.
We do.
That's awesome. And, before we go, David, I do, because our listeners may have actually heard about the Tech Challenge, which is something that the Tech Museum also does. It's another program that the Tech Museum does. And it is different than, what we talked about during this show today. But could you briefly tell us about the Tech Challenge? Because that is more for, I think, the younger kids who are actually still in school and whatnot, right?
It is. It's for grades 5 through 12. It's a design learning competition that's held every year in April at the Tech Museum, and it involves coming up with creative solutions to a problem. So this year, the theme is Asteroids Rock, and there's an engineering challenge where you develop a solution, and you can go on our website and at thetech.org and see all about what the problems are this year that you'll be addressing in the Tech Challenge. And students from all over Northern California are encouraged to take part in that. It's about team building, about solving problems as a group, coming up with innovative technology and engineering solutions to solve a problem. All of these groups, there were, I think, 1,400 students last year who participated, come to the Tech Museum, and they compete. Then they get awards for the best solution. There's even an award for the most spectacular failure for somebody who's tried but failed miserably, because, of course, the lesson there is that often you have to fail miserably before you succeed spectacularly, too.
Absolutely.
So it's a great thing. It's a signature program of the Tech Museum, just like the Tech Awards. And actually, there's a connection because every year, one team from the Tech Challenge is chosen to come to the Tech Awards Gala to be on stage with the presenters to deliver the trophies of crystal and pure silicon to the winners of the Tech Awards. And there's a film shown to the audience there about the Tech Challenge and all the great work that students have done in the Design Learning Engineering Challenge.
That is so great. So for my listeners out there who may not be ready for the Tech Awards just yet, there is always the Tech Challenge that is available to you if you are in grades 5 through 12. So, go onto the Tech Museum's website to get more information on that. But if you are a listener who thinks you've got something that is ready to be entered into the Tech Awards, definitely go on to the Tech Awards website and get more information on how you can apply, because applications are being accepted right now through May 1st. So you've got a little bit of time, but, time flies when you're having fun. So don't miss out on your chance.
And if you go to the YouTube section of the Tech's website, you'll be able to see films about the Tech Challenge, about the various laureates that I was describing, highlights from the Tech Awards Gala. So there are many, many films on our website in the YouTube section that you can take a quick look and see what all this is about.
Absolutely. And I think that would be such a great thing to do, to read up on some of the laureates and what their projects were and, see the videos. And I mean, it's inspiration for a lot of people. And, and for others, it's almost gratification just to kind of see, that there are people who are trying to really make this world a better place for everyone. Now, David.
Thank you. That's why we do this. That's why the Tech Museum and the community supports this great program.
Absolutely. Now, before we go, David, do you have any last-minute words for our listeners about technology or applying themselves to enter the Tech Awards or the Tech Challenge? Anything out there that you want to say to our listeners?
I think it would be wonderful, especially for your younger listeners, to think about ways that they could help someone else. Not necessarily somebody they know or even somebody in their community, but to think in a global way about, how could they make a difference in the lives of other people who don't have the same advantages that they have, perhaps, and to take some action toward that. So even just reading or understanding or connecting to the Tech Awards laureates would be a great first step to get the inspiration, maybe to correspond with them. It's a wonderful thing to start thinking about how you can make a difference in the world, and you can.
Great words to live by and a great way to end the show here. So, David, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show and tell all of our listeners about the Tech Awards that just happened. We just missed them, but, there is going to be one next year as well. And, just letting us know what's going on in these big programs that the Tech Museum really, focuses on. It's the two big signature programs, the Tech Awards and the Tech Challenge. And, I think it was great to have you on here just to inform our listeners about what's going on down there in Silicon Valley, because this is all new to me, and I'm sure it's all new to a lot of our listeners out there as well. And I think there's so many
Thank
about
you
there.
so much for the chance to be on your program this morning. We really appreciate it.
Great. Well, thanks so much, David. And one more time before we go, give us the websites for the Tech Museum.
Tech.org is the website for the Tech Museum of Innovation in San Jose, California. And on that website, you can find links to the Tech Challenge, the Tech Awards, and many other interesting things that are going on here at the museum.
Awesome. Thanks so much, David. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody, that does it for us here today on Let's Chat. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Stay dry out there, and I look forward to chatting with all of you guys next time.
Let's chat right here on Radio Disney AM 1310.